So what's up, Zach?
Nothing much. What's up with you, buddy?
Not much. We have a special guest today.
We do have a special guest today. Please introduce our special guest today.
It's a fan favorite. It's my sister.
Hi, everyone.
Yay.
Good to be here.
Dean, that was so low energy from you. I'm disappointed.
I know, right?
Sorry,
Are
I'm
you
like,
asleep? You're dicking
no,
around. We're trying to have the show. There's
yeah.
ones of people watching right now.
I'm
and
looking
you're
at statues.
dicking around,
dude.
trying to conduct business.
They're making a Costco?
I've been sweating over this hot show sheet for hours today, and this
No.
is the thanks I get.
You haven't, though.
Hey
Yeah,
guys, my name.
It's gonna be awesome.
Ah shit. Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Deanie.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Collecting Weekly Podcast. It's a weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting.
That's right. We'd like to take a second to thank our friends over at Water Scrapyard for sponsoring this week's episode of Collecting Weekly.
Big shout out there. So we have a decent show planned for you guys today. There was honestly not a lot of news this week. So we're gonna straggle through it. Deanie is here though. It's crazy because Deanie was on maybe like within the first dozen episodes, maybe like the first 20 episodes, talking about a statue. And we're gonna find out what's been going on with that statue. It's been over 2.5 years almost. That's ridiculous.
That's a long time.
I think I've probably been waiting for something that's also we're going to talk about later for about the same amount of time. Dean, let's kick it off with the world's favorite podcast segment.
Hell yeah, it's new
this week.
What'd you
Nailed
get new
it.
this week? I didn't get anything. I got a comic book, but Deanie has it at her house, so I don't even have it here.
Was that the CGC one?
No, that's in the mail. That'll be here Thursday, according to the mail. We see if that happens.
Yeah.
It's the same. I've literally bought the same comic 4 times. They're all different variations of the cover, and then one of them is the graded version.
Nice.
But yeah, it's been so slow. I just haven't gotten anything.
Yeah. What about you, Deanie?
I also got a comic, sort of. I got my Berserk Deluxe Volume 5 this week.
Hey,
It's the
Very
massive
cool.
compilation, leather bound, amazing.
yeah, those things are sweet.
They're so big that they're bending my bookshelf.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna have to buy a new shelf now because. Oh yeah, and here we go. Check this out. I
So
also
tell
got this.
Tell us what this is.
This here is a limited edition Su-Mei statue. Final Fantasy IX Battle of Destiny. It went up for pre-order, I think earlier this year, maybe springtime. I don't remember the edition size of this. Let's see. I think it's maybe less, like around 1,500 or so. Huge statue. Dean will tell you the size of this thing is pretty misleading. It looks kind of small, but each one of the figures both Zidane and Kuja are pretty sizable.
Yeah, they're about 7-inch, 8-inch maybe.
Yeah. I was super excited to get this because Final Fantasy IX is my favorite Final Fantasy. There was hardly any merchandise for this game. And all of a sudden, over the last few years, it's just been a plethora of figures and love for this game. Remasters, toys. I've been collecting the, what were they? The Bring Arts figures.
Uh-huh.
I just, that's another thing I just got. I got Quina and Aiko, the dual box figure set last week. Super excited. But this one I've been waiting for probably my whole life without knowing it. I just love it so much. And it even lights up. So all of those crystals that you see have LEDs embedded in them. And they look amazing when it's all lit up.
Hey, Deanie, real quick, we had someone message in that said that your mic volume is a little too loud compared to our two. Can you right-click on your sound settings and then go to your input, and then go to device properties and drop your gain to like 70%.
What's up, Steven, Fernando, Eric, Danny Lee, the Manny Lee, Mario? What's up, guys? Big
Yeah.
Fern in the house.
We got a new mic for Deanie, so bear with us as we. It sounded fine when we were doing the mic checks, but maybe I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, how does it sound? Pretty good?
Yeah, you sound good. I think we're good. Let us know in the chat if she's still too loud. We would appreciate it. But Dean, what did you get new this week?
I went first. I didn't
Oh,
get
just
anything.
kidding. Sorry, that whole thing just took me off. All right, let's.
Yeah.
3, 2. So this week was pretty slow. So we had placed an order from TNS, Manny and I, and I thought it was a little odd because the figures were coming from overseas, right? And like the day they hit customs, like almost an hour later, it was like, hey, your package is going to be there tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, okay, that sounds a bit overzealous. So I turned on all package notifications so I can make sure it's moving throughout the network, because it goes from like, the customs to the regional facility, then to San Antonio, then your post office, and then out for delivery.
Right.
By 11 o'clock, I still had gotten PM. I got nothing. Like it just hadn't moved for 12 hours. And so I was kind of tempering my expectations. Like I'm definitely not going to get anything. Sure enough, postman drives by, nothing. Still says it's being delivered today. I obviously know that's not the case. So it's going to be a big strikeout again. But Gravity Damage, local comic book store, managed to snag the Diamond Select Iron Giant, supposedly early. Some people said this is street dated for next week, but they sold it to me and I love it. We got the first review up on YouTube that is live on our YouTube channel right now. It's just about a 3.5-minute review. There's really not a lot to talk about this figure. It's just really well done. Has really nice light up LEDs in the eye, which look really good.
Cute.
I think they're probably a little too green in the movie. I don't remember them being that green, but I will rewatch the movie and get back with you. But yeah, this figure is really good. I mean, for a $30 figure, 6 hands, not 6 pairs of hands, 6 hands. Hogarth, the S, you can remove that, just clips on, and LED feature with Dean batteries included. Talk about that later.
Nice.
You can't beat it. I mean, there's one very small nitpick I have is that these hips right here have screws, and they're just like just shiny screws. I want to just take some gray acrylic paint and just touch them up to match the socket. But other than that, I mean, this is a fantastic figure. $30. I mean, you can't beat it. And they only got like two or three of them, and one of them had already been paid for. So I don't know if they just didn't order that many, or if it's a short printed figure. But it was definitely really nice to have that. I'm a big fan of the film, and I did have the Walmart 18-inch version, which I did compare it to in the review, but that one didn't really. Once Stephen Krett pointed out the big feet and like just all these other things that were wrong with it, just like, well,
you couldn't look at it anymore.
Vivi, would you like to have a robot? And so my kid's been playing with it ever since. So
Nice.
definitely glad to have an Iron Giant back in the collection. Let's get into the news. So Hot Toys announced their new line, Hot Toys Cause Rider. They made this fancy video teaser yesterday, and my God, if this isn't the absolute worst thing I've ever seen. Just like nothing about this is good. I know Manny was really upset. He wanted to have Penguin riding a Batmobile. I don't know, man. What do you think about this?
Do they actually move?
Yeah. So supposedly the gimmick is like you can put a coin inside, and it doesn't really say in the description if that includes this actual Hot Toys Cause Baby coin. But it's kind of funny, like if it doesn't and you have to put your own money in there to make it work. I think that's just like the ultimate troll by Hot Toys. But they're supposed to move with like LEDs and kind of like those things in front of the
Right.
grocery stores. But this just looks so bad. Like there's so many things in DC specifically that people really, really want. And I know like I understand. Like if we make collecting weekly, but because we're making another show doesn't mean we can't still make Collecting Weekly. Like, I understand that, but it's just like, what is this? You know, it's just a huge swing and a miss for me. Hardcore DC fans that I know don't even care about this. This is just awful.
Deanie, this is like when Square Enix kept coming out with stupid ass Final Fantasy games. It's like, why don't you just work on Final Fantasy 7?
Yes.
Why are you doing this?
Finish Kingdom Hearts.
Who asked for this? Yeah, finish Kingdom Hearts. Like, why are you working on these other stupid things? It's like, there's so many Batman figures that people want. Like,
oh my gosh, I get so jealous in the statue collecting world because it seems like every week there's like some new Batman that goes on sale and just immediately is shipped out. And here I am waiting since December 2017 for Griffith. Just one Berserk statue. That's all I want. And this right here, I don't know who they marketed this towards, because just looking at it, it looks like the junk that would be in a kid's room on the floor. Like,
and these aren't, I mean, they're not expensive, but they're not cheap either. It's like,
yeah, I mean, a normal Cos Baby is like $15. So I imagine with the lights and the sounds, I mean, you might be looking at $30, $35. Not breaking the bank, but a lot of people were saying this looks like something my kid would play with. But don't insult the kids. Don't insult the toys my kids play with, because they look a lot better than this. Eddie says that he canceled all his remaining Hot Toys after this announcement. Sean Yahtzee says it's the worst. We have Austin Craft in the chat. And yeah, I'm sorry, Dean, what were you saying?
Oh yeah, I was just saying, like, I don't know who this was marketed towards. Like, I don't know a single person that was like, I want more Cos Babies specifically from Batman movies. I will say it's kind of cute that they were able to like pick out like different vehicles. I mean, Batman's kind of like an easy one, but like the Joker and the police car and the Joker and Harley Quinn and that whatever the fuck that thing was. It'd be hilarious if they had the what's his name? The last Joker. What's his name?
You know what this kind
Jared
of reminds
Leto?
me of?
No, the last one.
Oh, Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah, in like a taxi cab, but yeah. What were you saying, Dini?
Oh, I was just gonna say, you know, this kind of reminds me of something I saw a few weeks back. I'm gonna go ahead and send you a link here, but Prime One unveiled these weird little plastic Berserk toys that look like Sackboy from what's that game called?
Something Planet.
Something Planet. I don't remember. But they look like little sack boys. And I was like, in theory, I thought they sounded cute. But when I looked at them, I was like, oh my God, these are ugly. And for some reason, when I saw those, that's the first thing I thought of was these little toys here. I was like, what is this? Who did they make this for?
Yeah. That's weird.
It's
not
weird.
A huge fan. Like, if DC fanboys are not even remotely
DC fanboys don't... Yeah, they don't strike me as kind of cutesy. Like, I don't think this really suits them. I don't know. If I was a DC fan, that's not what I would want personally.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan. Now, Dean, this is one that you wanted to talk about. It's a SW Toys Jill Valentine coming in at $160. This is the 3.0 figure. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so the remake was it the Resident Evil 3. The remake is freaking amazing. I sat there and watched the whole thing get played without even realizing. I was like, no, I'm not a big Resident Evil fan. Like, I don't want to watch this. And then before I knew it, I was like so enthralled with this game. Jill has just always been a really cool character, and this redesign is fucking awesome.
Oh man.
And I think like literally like the week after I watched this review, I was on the show like, dude, like if this figure comes out, I was like, someone has to let me know, because I want a Jill Valentine because she's so freaking cool. And lo and behold, here it is. Finally, it's on pre-order. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but there's two variations. There's Jill in her regular outfit, and then the zombie version. I don't know why you would want a zombie version, but hey, they're offering it. It's the same price, but yeah, I cannot wait for this to come out.
That is super cool.
Do you know when the estimated release date is?
I want to say it was on Giant Toy, but I don't remember.
Yeah. I didn't see one on the show sheet, so I just assumed it was not up yet.
Is she the same scale as the Leon?
Yeah, she's 6 scale. So
nice, excellent.
Now, this was really cool. So Iron Geek 37, friend of the show, Kevin, great guy. He is putting up the Manta Noir pre-order from Aquaman. Some details on this figure. You can see there's some LED lights, really nice looking outfit. And he says the pre-orders are open now for the Manta Noir Black Manta to add that extra flair to your Aquaman display with some epic battle poses.
dude,
20 points of articulation, 5 interchangeable hands, 2 relaxed, 2 fisted, and 1 sword holding. Removable gauntlet sword for the left gauntlet. 12 points of illumination and diorama display base with electronics installed for wireless illumination upon contact with the base. All electronics are handmade, as well as the figure being handmade and painted / assembled by myself. He says this was the most fun and detailed figure I've made to date. This is by far my best work, and in my opinion, is far better than the cybernetic, which we thought was really nice. And this is basically you can find information on his Facebook group and his page Iron Geek 37, and his Instagram at Iron_Geek_37. So, Dean, what do you think about this figure?
Dude, it looks so freaking cool. Yeah, it's fucking awesome, dude. I don't have any like Aquaman ties, but I always remember watching like the cartoons and thinking like, oh, that character looks so cool. I always kind of hoped he was a good guy, but apparently he wasn't. Again, I never paid attention to DC, so
yeah.
But I mean, an all black kind of fucking alien looking badass on your shelf. I mean, it's fucking sweet.
That takes a lot of talent right there.
Yeah, I can't even begin to imagine where he even started. Like,
Danny Lee said, what's the price? The price is on the Facebook group. We didn't get permission to talk about price on the show before we went live, but definitely check it out on his Facebook group if you're interested. Now, in regards to the Cosbaby Riders, Red Wolf says, this is what I feared. Hot Toys is starting to go mainstream and taking away that special quality that I get from collecting them. So, yeah, I am not a big fan. Red Wolf says, Dean, your goatee is looking better and better every stream.
Thanks.
Now, up next from Ink Dioramas, they did have some additional photos of their, I believe they're calling it the Iron Scavenger. Now, this is, they had some questions about this. Obviously, you see it here being supported by boxes. And essentially, I think this is the early prototype. So, Yost was saying that the 3D print is obviously not as rigid as what the final product will be. So that's why it is being supported by this. I think the goal, from what I read in the comments, was for them to be able to fully support themselves. But the leather work looks really good. The scale, obviously, like these wings are massive, and the outfit looks really great. So I know a lot of people are really excited about that. And definitely for those Homecoming Spider-Man fans, this will be a great addition to their collection. What do you think about this, Dean?
Dude, it looks freaking amazing. The size alone is impressive.
That's what she said.
I'm pretty sure the price of this thing is going to be pretty impressive too.
Yeah. It's actually not that bad. Off the top of my head, I think it was like, don't quote me on this, I don't have the site pulled up, but I think it was like $500. But for a small batch with like real leather, like this is they're not making 10,000 of these. There's not really a scale discount that they're getting for the processing, for the production. I mean, it's a pretty reasonable price. I mean, most die-cast Iron Man are like in the $430 range. Yeah. So I think this looks really good.
Yeah, just on the size of the wings alone. But yeah, it's also impressive that you get an actual figure.
Yeah, it's like a full figure
with
plus
tailored suit and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of unrelated, I really liked the details on his boots. He has like these cool clamps. Like, that's neat. I don't know what that was. That's cool.
Yeah, so when in the movie when he's like stealing stuff, he flies in and his boots grab like crates and then he's able to fly away with them.
Oh, okay.
There's better detailed pictures that Yost put up, but yeah, it looks fucking sweet of the feet. I mean,
Yeah,
All the
I think it
details are
looks
great.
really good. Dean, are you okay? I'm scared. You're like, you
I'm
seem like so low
fine.
energy. Like you're just like, like you,
No,
I'm worried about you. Are you
I'm
okay?
fine. Yeah,
Look me in the eye, Dean. Are you okay?
I'm not gonna look you in the eye. I'm fine.
I'm scared. I'm scared,
I
Dean.
woke up at like 8.
Alrighty then.
I took a nap.
Demoniacal Fit is showing us some box art for their Mightiest Warrior, their Gohan 2.0. I'm gonna get it, but I already basically have this figure on the shelf. But I am not gonna complain about getting some new hands and some new faces for Gohan. So I think this is a good sign that they're still gonna make this figure. I mean, it seems like they just have been releasing render after render. So rather than getting a 3D render, Dean, we're getting a 2D render of packaging. So I don't know if this means this is a good thing or a bad thing, but they did post that today. So
How is Demoniacal Fit's box art better than Figuarts?
that's based on the Figure Arts box art. Their new the event exclusives. They have like the silhouettes, I think.
I mean,
I think they're trying to copy the
Oh, you're right. I have one
Damn.
holding up my laptop.
Red Wolf says Dean's girl tired the big guy out. Oof. Was it the girl that you were hanging out that you didn't tell me about?
No, there's no girl.
Not yet. Let's get into the released section of the show. So the Remnant Stormtrooper did come out. We talked about this on the live stream with Optical, Paradox Nerd, and Justin's collection. He had said that some of his sources said this was coming out next. Sure enough, like 2 days later, it came out. I think it looks good. A lot of people are complaining that the weathering is too artificial, but in the show, it is very heavy-handed, and it definitely this does fit the bill. It's an easy pass for me, but if you like the style of the Rogue One Stormtroopers, it's definitely a good way to get one for your collection. What are your thoughts?
Well, I always said like you only really see these stormtroopers like once or twice, because the other stormtroopers that show up at the end of the show are all spotless. They're clean.
Yeah.
Because
these are like the patrol troopers that are just like already there. They've been stationed there for a while. Their ship's all greasy.
Yeah, so like for me, this is an easy pass. I already have my idealized stormtroopers, so any stormtrooper that comes out after, it's an easy pass.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's cool. I like it, but I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, I don't have this on pre-order. Deanie, did you like The Mandalorian? I don't think I've ever actually talked to you about The Mandalorian.
Yeah, that show was good.
Dude, I'm so excited.
Dean told me, like, episode 1, I'm hooked, and you're going to get hooked. I'm like, okay.
No, we watched it together. That was the night of my accident, remember?
Oh, yeah, I think you watched episode 2 before me.
Yeah.
Because you cheated.
Everything after that,
yeah. But yeah, that show had me hooked from the first episode. But I think I kind of agree with the two of you on this one. It's just sort of like, kind of like a passing design. It's they sort of like threw it away too. So it kind of seems weird in retrospect how you've got these stormtroopers that have been stationed in this place for a long time and their uniforms look like garbage. And then all of a sudden you see all the clean ones come out of the ships and you're like, well, what the heck is going on here? Get these guys some new equipment.
Right? And their shit's all falling apart. It's all wongos.
Yeah, we even got our stepdad hooked on Mandalorian, dude. Like every week he was like, hey, like when's the episode coming out? It's like it didn't come out for another day.
Speaking of which, Kensington is in the chat.
Hey.
Hello,
Hey.
That means they're both watching. So
hey, shout out to Steve. This came out as well. This is the 40th anniversary Kenner Color Boba Fett released in Hong Kong. Dude, I think it looks really good. Honestly,
bad.
I wasn't a big fan when they first showed it, but seeing it like not in a production photo, like seeing it in someone's hands, I'm kind of a fan. I'm kind of digging it. Dude, I'm not going to buy it, but I'm definitely digging it.
I'm really tempted to use my Sideshow coupons and buy this. It's just so cool. But I also really want a John Wick, so I don't know which one I'm going to get.
Austin Crafton in the chat saying, I hope Hot Toys unveiled the Miles Morales figure. Yeah, they showed it a few months ago. It is up for pre-order if you want to get it. I think it's $267, releasing Q1 2021. Don't quote me on that. No, I think it's Q3 2021. It's actually a while away. I don't know. Someone put that in the chat, but yeah, Austin, they do have one already. This is also getting its US release finally, the Leia and Wicket 2-pack. A lot of people said that they're getting theirs. We've talked about this at length. Someone posted, I think it was Shy, posted a photo of Wicket doing a dab. Instantly made me reverse all negative feelings about it. I was like, I need this in my life.
I want a Wicket so bad.
Dabbing would be the absolute goat of the collection.
But he's just so expensive by himself for such a little figure. What how much is he? Is he like 210 or something?
I think he's 190.
That's still a lot.
Yeah, definitely a lot. Now, going on to Jazz Ink Dioramas, I know Austin was asking about it, but the Batmobile from Justice League has been released. Really nice. I know Justin's collection did do a review / unboxing on this, and it looks fantastic. We've seen photos of like people standing on this during the production process to test that it's strong enough, the material. We've seen photos of the Batman inside the cockpit. I think it's great. I think it's everything that they advertised it for. A little bit of a grinds my gears on Yos's Facebook page. After the first batch is already shipped, these 2 or 3 people were like saying, "Oh, you're missing this decal and this decal and this decal," but it's like, well, I mean, he's been working on it for like 2 years and no one chimed in on that. So a little bit of grinds my gears, but I think overall, just having someone in the community making these projects, Deanie, this is a gentleman that's making that Falcon. He's also making this and the thing we'll see next. But I think this looks really good. And I'm definitely excited. Brian Steven is getting one down here in San Antonio. Yeah, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that once the Rona is over.
It's him and his dad and basically his whole family just out of their garage.
Yeah, his kids and his wife. Yeah, and it looks really good. And the next thing that released, so big week for Jazz Ink Dioramas, the Falcon Cockpit Diorama.
Dude,
this thing looks fucking dope. There's like one guy that has it already that's made a YouTube video. We don't have permission to share or anything like that, but it's really good. Just look up Jazz Ink Diorama 6cal Falcon Cockpit and you can check it out. It looks fantastic.
Want this so freaking bad, dude. Because all my figures are A New Hope.
Yeah, that is true.
But it's just so expensive, dude. If I have any money left over after I buy a vehicle, I'll probably pick this up.
Definitely good stuff. Now, Dean, there was a point. All right. There was a point where I thought this figure was a myth. I thought it was a lie. I did not believe I would see the day when I heard this company say that this figure is done. Supermad Toys Officer K finally finished. And I got to say, they did a goddamn good job. Now, I think they kind of just said, fuck this figure and just fucking yeeted all these things in the fucking bag and threw them in the box. Other than that, though, everything else looks fantastic. We have the retina scanner and the Joy emulator here, the badge, the gun. I think this is the whiskey glass, and then also the horse from the end of the movie. 2 gloved hands, 2 ungloved hands, and obviously the pistol and the holster. I think this looks really good. You also got a second sculpt. Definitely not the greatest timeline from pre-order to release. I just checked. It went up for pre-order in February of 2018. It'll be almost officially 2.5 years by the time I get it in hand, but goddamn, I'm so excited, dude. I'm literally so excited.
Do we know what the holdup was?
So we've covered it on the show, like, throughout.
Initially
it was kind of like radio silence for a while, like for like almost a year.
Yeah.
And then they just kept putting it's getting delayed, it's getting delayed, it's getting delayed. And then at one point they changed the sculpt because it used to be like a necklace sculpt, and they changed it to a necked sculpt. And then they couldn't figure out the flesh tone, and then there was issues with, I think the most recent one was the pistol. They didn't like the way it came out.
Yeah.
But then the jacket, they were trying to get the tailoring right, trying to get it to close right, because it is a very complex jacket.
Yeah.
People in the RPF have spent years trying to get it just right. Trying to get the tone of this color right. It is a very complicated figure, and
for
I
something
think
that's
that they
so
nailed it.
simple. There's a lot of little nuances to getting it right.
Yeah, I literally can't wait. I think you were saying with Greg that you have dibs on his copy. Once he gets it, he's going to sell it. Is that true?
Yeah. Because I want this figure, but I was like, I think you could go back and listen to that episode. I was like, I'm not like, I just don't like pre-ordering things because because of shit like this, or like sometimes they come out early and like they take you by surprise. You're like, fuck, then we got to come up with the money. So I never pre-ordered it, but now I'm like, fuck, it looks so good.
Yeah, and of course, like Ryan Gosling, one of the most beautiful human beings ever.
Right?
Very difficult to capture the likeness. Now, I think that this likeness is probably like 85%.
I think it's the closest.
It's the
anyone's
closest
gotten.
actual figure that I've seen. Now, obviously, Jinx I think is a little bit better, but you're paying you know, a huge price for the sculpt and then an even larger price to get it painted professionally. Sean says that cutoff date for the Falcon cockpit is the 17th of July, so you have 3 more days. The Deckard also looks really good. That's what DJ is saying in the chat. So I'm definitely excited about that. One last bit of news. ACGHK is postponed to October or December of this year due to COVID-19 outbreaks in that area. Figure Collecting for Dummy posted that Hot Toys may adjust new pre-order announcements accordingly. And they their channel, their YouTube, they're going to keep everyone updated. But this was the image that they released, and this is the approximate translation there from Figure Collecting. So big shout out to Figure Collecting for Dummy for keeping all of us Westerners in the loop. Mario says might start a GoFund My Falcon Dean.
Yeah.
Wait, start a GoFund. Is he saying start a GoFundMe? I don't know. But yeah, so definitely kind of sucks, you know. But again, I mean, ACGHK, it is a Hong Kong convention, but there are people that might go from across the world to this convention, travel back home, get people sick, or bring in sickness into the country. I think it's a smart move. I think it's a smart move. So hopefully we'll see not too much negative feedback from that.
Hell yeah. You guys know what time it is. What the scrapyard? Annie. Sorry, I always have to do that. We want to thank our friends over at Water Scrapyard for sponsoring this week's episode. You can find them on Instagram at Water Scrapyard. It's also their name on Facebook and eBay. You make 3D printed parts and hard to come by Kenner and Hasbro vehicles. Or 4, sorry, I misspoke. As well as resin printed head sculpts of dozens of different characters from the Star Wars universe and other universes. If you don't see a character you like on their Instagram, send them a message and they could get it designed and printed for a reasonable fee.
What a guy. What a guy. I'm actually working on some head sculpts for him, and we will definitely talk about those in the Joy of Hobbying. Now, Dean, the movie from this week is Where the Wild Things Are, 2009 film, and we're on this Where the Wild Things Are kick because I was repairing some figures for your lovely mother, and I thought, I haven't read the book in a while. I've never seen the movie. What better time? Now, let me give you a brief synopsis here. So, this film is based loosely on the short story by Maurice Sendak and centers on a lonely boy named Max who sails away to an island inhabited by creatures known as the Wild Things to declare Max their king. Some of the reviews say that some may find its dark tone and slender narrative off-putting, but Spike Jonze's heartfelt adaptation of the classic children's book is as beautiful as it is uncompromising. The Rotten Tomatoes score is 73%. Now,
that's pretty good.
Warner Brothers, yeah, it's pretty decent, initially feared that this film was not family-friendly and would frighten children, but these fears were not shared by Jones or Sendak, who again is the author, and Jones refused to compromise. Maurice Sendak said after seeing a completed cut of the film, quote, "I've never seen a movie that looked or felt like this, and it's Spike Jonze's personal this, and he's not afraid of himself. He's a real artist, and that lets it come through in his work. So he's touched me very much." After seeing the finished product, a Warner Brothers executive stated of Jones, he's a perfectionist and just kept working on it, but now we know that at the end of the day, he nailed it. I will say, pretty fucking good movie. Definitely, in my opinion, a movie that is more for people like you and I who have nostalgic views of this film. I think your mom would like it a lot. I do not think that like any kid under like 10 should watch this. It's pretty terrifying at times. Like if you're in the mindset of a kid. Anytime I watch a movie, Dean, I have to watch it with two lenses, like the Zack lens and then the dad lens, and I have to think
Yeah.
like, will this freak my kid out? 100%, this movie could be horrifying for a kid. The creatures, I mean, they're quite large, they're strong, they can just fucking fling each other around. They fling this kid around. I mean, they're like knocking down trees and throwing boulders like it's nothing. It's very whimsical. It's just very like it's a really good take on it. There are some parts that are a little scary, but overall, I think it's a good story. I think Mark Ruffalo is in this film in the beginning. He's like trying to date this kid's mom, which I wouldn't want Mark Ruffalo trying to date my mom, so I can totally see why the plot goes in motion. You can see here on the right, this is the entire text of the story of this book. It's not a long book at all. I think it's like 180 words to this whole book. And to adapt that into a movie that's almost 2 hours long, they're obviously adding quite a bit of fluff, and obviously the writer of the novel was a part of the production. So and it had his blessing at the end. So I think this book is pretty decent, and I think this movie is just as decent. Deanie, have you seen this movie?
I have not seen that movie.
I highly recommend it. Dean, what did you think about it?
I gotta be honest with you, Zach.
Oh no,
I didn't see the movie.
what the hell?
I completely forgot. Literally, we signed on. I was like, oh shit.
What the hell?
I know. I'm sorry.
You
Dude.
dropped this shit on me 36 minutes into the show.
I know. I feel bad. I do.
What the hell? What is the point of this segment? That's it. We're done with this segment. The segment's done.
No,
We're
no.
done. We're canceling the segment. Dean doesn't want to watch the movie. We're done with this.
I didn't say I didn't want to watch it. I said I forgot. That's different.
Actually, you know what would be better? How did those repairs go? Because they look so cute and
Really
well
good,
balanced.
actually. Yeah, really good. So I did not actually need to add any weights like I planned. I actually bought them, but I didn't use them. But basically, I just took a blow dryer and not reformed them, but like heated up the parts and like bent them back into their original shape. And then I pinned everything, and it went really good. Two of the figures are permanently attached to the base because their connection points were really loose to begin with, and I think that was part of the problem. And the third figure, it kind of like fell when the glue was setting, but because it fell like right when the glue had set, it made a nice little cup of the foot, and it can fit in perfectly, and it's perfectly balanced. But the glue just didn't actually adhere to the plastic, so it's actually a pretty good fit. Everything went really good. I'm really pleased with how everything turned out. Wasn't as bad as I thought. And speaking of toys, this is the Medicom take on the movie. So they made a set of vinyl figures of the different characters.
Yeah, those guys are huge.
Yeah, they look pretty decent. And then they also made a 6-scale max, which you can actually find this figure for about $80 on eBay.
Nice.
Definitely not expensive. And I think with a little bit of weathering, because his outfit does get quite dirty in the movie, I think this could be an easy project if you want to make a 6-scale max. But yeah, it looks really good. And speaking of the figures that we worked on for Dean's mom, this is the Macfarland figures. And I guess the reason why they're so weirdly balanced is because they're meant to be removed from the base and displayed like this. But on their bases, I think they look a little bit better. They look a little bit too cramped here. But they look really good. That's basically took the 2D art and made it 3-dimensional, and they look pretty decent. So definitely check out this movie. Dean, apparently. I'm so disappointed in you. I'm like legitimately disappointed.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
I guess me and you will have to watch it together to make up for it.
Yeah, maybe
I quit the show.
Our mother dearest will rent it. We gotta watch it together.
Well, I expect an update if you do. What would you like to be the movie for next week, Dean?
Oh man, you put me on the spot. I don't know.
You've only had a week to think about it.
I know, that's my bad. I'll announce it later.
Oh my goodness, this show's falling apart. I thought it was a really good movie though. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. I will say certain parts felt really, like, I mean, it's a kid. It's like from a kid's perspective. So the things that they're doing are obviously very kiddie like. Definitely not a serious movie, but there are some parts where shit gets real. And this fucker right here, Carol, is a fucking madman. This is my favorite character here, KW.
I like the little bird dude.
Wait, oh yeah, he's awesome. I don't remember I think his name is Alexander. But there's a scene with him that was horrifying. I was like, holy shit. It like legit, like it was almost like that scene from Saw like when the alien walks by and you're like, oh my god, I felt just like that, dude.
There's an alien in Saw.
Or Signs.
Signs?
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm so thrown off by the fact that you didn't watch the movie. I'm trying to like
It's-
figure out how we're
It's
going to.
behind. And then the fucking
He's like,
alien
"Oh."
comes- yeah, dude, that was terrifying.
Dude, it was like one of those.
I
moments.
remember
It's
seeing
not
that in
as
the theater,
scary,
like, vividly.
but it is like I was like, oh shit, that actually just happened. But yeah, definitely check out this line of figures as well. They're really good. Now the Medicom ones, they are very expensive. The vinyls, they usually run about $80 a pop. They retail for 30.
How big are they?
I think they're like 6 inches, so they're not very big. But you
Jeez.
can. There's one guy that has the set for like $300, which is a pretty decent price considering they go for quite a bit.
Yeah.
Let's get into the joy of hobbying now. First up, Joint Juice 2.0 bottles coming out hopefully this week. I have the labels. They shipped, I believe,
I always place my joint juice
today. And we have a few people that have ordered them, but definitely get your orders in. We only have 24 bottles of second batch, and I think already 8 to 10 are claimed. Eddie says Falcon GoFundMe in the works. Yeah, get me a Falcon, guys. GoFundMe.
Well, it's for me.
Well, you didn't watch the movie, so if you did, I mean, I'd be all for it, but I don't know. You didn't do your homework. Last week, I was working on Danny Lee's Captain America, and the picture on the left was last week. The picture on the right is this week, so adding more flesh tones, painting the eyes, got the neck to match the face, and I think it's coming along very well. I need to paint the A little bit more white. Danny Lee was saying it was a bit too dark for his taste, so I'm picking up a new Vallejo white to cover that up. But other than that, it's pretty much almost done. Just a few small touch-ups to do, but I'm very pleased thus far. Also, from Watto Scrapyard, I did a Joy of Hobbying last week live. Totally messed up the sculpt and then had to strip it and start all over. But it is Gwen Stacy from Into the Spider-Verse to replace the Gwen Stacy head sculpt that's coming with the bullet head Gwen Stacy, because that one's just really bad. I'm just not a fan of it. And then second to last, I did a WCF Master Roshi custom. The left is the initial fitment, so I had to Dremel down the head, the inside of the head pretty decently, but you can see the sunglasses are white, and the flesh was like this really weird orange, yellow, red color. Definitely was like really disappointed when I got this out of the box. On the right, you can see I repainted the glasses and totally repainted everything on the sculpt. So the beard, the glasses, the flesh, and I got it to match like 95% to the stock paint on this Jack's Pacific, maybe it's Irwin, Roshi, hulked out Roshi, and I couldn't be happier. Like I just can't stop looking at this figure. It looks so good. And I definitely have finished my Roshi collection for the Dragon Ball shelf. And then last but not least, I am working on an Ahmed Best head sculpt for Watto Scrapyard. Yeah, he's a great guy. He sponsors the show. So he asked me if I could paint him a head, and I told him no problem. This is about 30% done, so I'm still just getting down some basic skin tones. And it's also a body as well.
Ahmad Best is a Instagram guy?
Ahmad Best played Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, no shit. Because I see him on Instagram, and he just has like a lot of like Jedi stuff. I didn't know that was him.
Yeah, okay. So Ahmed Best played Jar Jar, right?
Okay.
And then a few years ago, we talked about on the show, but he really opened up about being suicidal and how negative Star Wars had been on his life.
Yeah.
I think things have gotten better because there was once he said that, there was this huge, it's kind of like the silent majority. Like in fact, it's just the smallest crowd is making the loudest noise.
Right.
Lots of people came out in support of this guy. And he actually hosts a show. I don't know if you call it a show. It's on YouTube. I guess we're a show. It's like a Star Wars has like this little obstacle course show for kids. I think it's called like Jedi Adventures.
Yeah.
And he plays a Jedi on that show.
Okay, cool.
Like he's like the host of the show playing a Jedi. But Sean's making a custom of Ahmed Best wearing Jedi robes with this head sculpt and this body.
Nice.
I did run into some issues because the hands, they're like those rubber hands that just don't take paint very well. So I don't know how I'm going to work on that. But at the very minimum, the head sculpt is going to turn out really good. Victoria's going to help me. She is obviously super good at painting. And so I'm not that comfortable painting darker complexion skin tones. So this is my work thus far, which I think is looking pretty good. So She'll be giving me pointers along the way, but
Yeah,
this
it
is
looks great.
definitely, this is definitely really. I mean, it helps because the sculpt is so good. It's not like there's you get some sculpts and they're just not so good sometimes. But with Watto Scrapyard, obviously, we're not just saying this, but his sculpts really require very minimum cleanup for you to start
Oh
painting.
yeah, dude, 100%. His sculpts
Yeah.
are amazing.
Let's get into Grinds My Gears, and I think we're gonna have to BS a little bit because I feel like the show is really short so far. I don't know. I just feel like we're blowing through the show.
Look, you got me in trouble with my mom, by the way.
Thank you, Kensington. Bad Dean. So Dean, do you know what really grinds my gears?
I'm pretty sure I do.
Halloween Kills. Now,
Damn it.
What?
That's not what I thought it was.
Oh, trust me, it's coming up after this. We got 2 grinds my gears this week for you, ladies and gentlemen. Halloween Kills. They have released a statement on July 8th. We write this to you, heartbroken over the fact that the delay of our film is even a discussion. But if there is one thing that a career in the film industry has prepared us for, it is the unexpected. Over the past few weeks, our film family has looked at the forecast of theatrical exhibition with obvious concern. We have discussed and struggled with how best to present Halloween Kills to the loyal fans around the world, as well as the new audience we hope to invite this experience. It was a wild and vibrant production. We lined up a cast of legacy characters like Lori and Tommy, Lindsay, Lonnie, Marion, Brackett, and The Shape. Manny was there. Then, alongside some new faces, we aggressively made the second chapter of our Halloween trilogy. It unfolded into an experience that was creative playground, and we feel confident that our misfit pleasures will be seen as an unexpected entry into this franchise. If we release it in October of this year as planned, we have to face the reality that the film would be consumed in a compromised theatrical experience. After weighing our options, we have chosen to push the film's theatrical release by 1 year. On top of a traditional release, Universal has agreed to an IMAX presentation of the film in October 2021. We are sound mixing with one of the greatest design teams that can slash, scream, and creep their way into your skin. We're going to have time to complete the film with the quality the fans deserve, and preparation on Halloween Ends has begun. Now, obviously, COVID just ruining everything this year. But it almost goes back to like 6 weeks ago or so when a lot of movies are being canceled because they didn't want people to basically watch it at home. They thought that these things would be best seen on the big screen.
Right.
And I certainly agree that that is 100% true. But you're also assuming that by next October, either COVID's not going to be around, we're going to have a vaccination, that things will be different. And
the theaters won't be shut down.
I think that is a huge
Gamble.
assumption and a huge gamble, because what if, knock on wood, it's not any better next year in October, then you're going to push it back again? I don't think so. The way that this is written just seems like maybe they had a chance to do IMAX and they went for it. But I know a lot of people that are super disappointed. This was the one thing all year they were looking forward to, and now that's ruined as well. I personally feel like they should just release this film in a video on demand format. There's been a lot of films that have released in that format during this quarantine that have been supremely successful. And obviously we're saying this from the point of fans of this franchise. There may be tons of legal stuff involved with that, but I know a lot of people were very disappointed, especially because we don't know the reality of COVID in 2021.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Dean?
I mean, Deanie and I were talking about this, I think it was yesterday. We still have the flu every year. And even with the vaccination, people still get the flu.
Yeah.
I don't see COVID going anywhere. I think it's going to be like a seasonal thing we have to deal with from now on. And like you said, like to assume that everything's going to be hunky-dory a year from now is insane.
Also something neither one of you mentioned, but I think is kind of a concern just logically. Think about how many films are going to be pushed to next year and the competition they're going to have to face.
That's also true. And that's even if theaters are around in a year. I mean, some of them are already filing for bankruptcy. I think was it AMC that's getting ready to file, or someone is.
I think it was Regal. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, there's been theaters that have
Yeah,
begun
it's
the
like
process.
Kevin. It's getting me excited.
That's a huge gamble because of everything you mentioned, plus the amount of people who are going to be cramming and clamoring for every penny they can to stay afloat at the same time.
Yeah, it's like, dude, just release it digitally. You'll probably make more money, honestly, because it's what, $20 to rent a movie digitally.
Yeah, I think it's about 25. I will say this: I would not see this movie in theaters. I would wait until it comes out for home release, but I would 100% pay $25 to watch it at home. Because I think you've touched on it before. For me to watch a movie is like $100 night, like babysitter, food, drinks, concessions, the actual seats, the tickets itself. I would much rather watch this at home personally.
Yeah, for someone like me who I don't want to spend $25, guess what I don't want to do? Go to the theater and get COVID. Like, even in a year, I don't know if I would go to a theater. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's something I'll ever do again.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
Manny
it's like,
says releasing the film digitally will kill the franchise, in my opinion.
well, releasing in theaters will kill you. So I don't know what, like, you know what I mean? Like,
dude, but that makes it even scarier.
Why not?
I'm just kidding.
I don't see.
Oh, they're adding to the scare factor. I see.
Well, what if you pull something like what's that movie called? Avatar? You know, it was released like 4 times. Do both. Release it digitally.
Yeah, release it digitally, then next year release it in IMAX.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. You get the best of both worlds, and
Also, how would releasing it digitally kill the franchise? Arguably, more people would see it because they're stuck at home. Fuck it, let's just rent this, and while we're at it, let's watch the first one. If we
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, if there's a second movie in a trilogy, that you get the sales of the first one and the second.
And the fan,
I mean, people have nothing better to do right now than literally to consume any amount of content.
Yeah, look how well our show is doing.
Yeah, we have like.
Ask Dean how many times I go to a theater personally.
She only goes if I literally drag her out of the house, and it's usually only for either a Star Wars movie or maybe a Marvel movie. And even then, I have to like fight tooth and nail to get her out of the house.
I don't like public places. There's plenty of people like me who enjoy this kind of content who would much rather see it at home anyway.
Like someone like my mom, she can't be in like dark places. She gets like panic attacks, so she has to wait for these movies to come out on home release anyway. So it's like, just release the movie and you'll probably, like I said, you'll probably make more money that way. You're not paying some middleman to show your movie.
You know what I've seen also, Dean? Some of these theaters had this really great idea. Now, obviously, there's some risk of COVID to take advantage of this idea, but some theaters have been making like to-go packs of concessions. So you pay like the $15, and you kind of just go to the lobby and you get your popcorn and your drink, and then you go home and you watch your video on demand movie. It's a good way for them to make money because concessions are what movie theaters make a lot of money on.
Almost exclusive.
Yeah. And so it's a great way to support VOD and also make some money.
Or maybe
Eddie says some Alamo Drafthouse theaters have already filed for bankruptcy and have had major layoffs.
Or maybe do like hey, we're only sitting like, I don't know, maybe like 20 people per theater, and have people in there directing people where to sit or something. Or like
that's a bad idea though, because they're saying now COVID is airborne, and that's just that air is just recirculating.
What about Dean? You remember this? Old school drive-ins.
Yeah,
dude, that's amazing.
Why haven't?
That is a great idea, actually, because I almost feel like that would make the atmosphere even better.
Oh,
dude,
so cool.
When I was a kid, me and Dean and our family, we went to go see Beverly Hills Cop 3 in the theater, at the drive-in rather.
Uh-huh.
And that was so fun. Like, I loved that. And that would be a really cool way to see a movie while keeping your space between people and having your concessions and whatever it is that
Bonus
you're gonna do.
idea: have cosplayers as Michael Myers fucking with people, like walking up the cars and like banging on the doors.
Oh no.
That would be dope. Yeah, that's a great idea, Deanie. It's a
Do we
great
still
idea.
have a drive-in here in town, or is it finally gone?
I think there's one, and also my parents were saying I think it's either SeaWorld or Six Flags. But they're doing like I think it's Six Flags. They're doing drive-in stuff because they have that huge parking lot.
Yeah.
I think. Don't quote me on that, but I know she sent me a link to check it out. But yeah, Fern is saying drive-thru is finna make a huge comeback, dude. One of my favorite memories of all time. Because back then, I don't know if they do it now, but drive-thrus would do like double features. Like you could watch a movie and then like there's a brief intermission, and then there's a second like different movie, like completely unrelated. And we would go and we would get like $20 burgers and like just a shitload of snacks with my uncle, and we would just like stay up till like 3 a.m. because it starts like at 10, but it's 6 hours of movies almost. Really, really good. Manny says Walmarts are converting their parking lots to drive-ins. That's a really good idea.
That's cool.
And your mom says they should bring back drive-ins. That's a great
I would
idea.
love to go to a drive-in. That sounds awesome.
You could bring that girl of yours, take her out for a night on the town.
Yeah.
Hasbro Pulse, Dean, grinds my gears. Now, I do not think that billion-dollar companies should crowdsource figures. So much so, in fact, because they needed 6,000 backers for this figure by, I think it was the end of August. There's 41 days left.
Mhm.
And they hit that number in one day. Now, if you're going to crowdsource something, it has to be something that might not do well. And obviously, a Sentinel, one of the most important villains of the X-Men in the Marvel comic universe, like that's not something that to me seems that risky. We talked with Amy Warnick, the general manager of Chronicle Collectibles, off air, and just kind of got some feedback about their company. And I think there's certain companies that maybe might be morally okay for them to do it. And I think Chronicle is one of them if they ever do kickstart a project. But Hasbro is a company that has billions of dollars in assets and billions of dollars in value, thousands of employees. I do not think that this is something that should have ever been potentially crowdfunded. Obviously, it's funded already, so it doesn't matter. But I do not like the idea of this at all. Eddie says he got 5. Danny says Cookie Monster Puppet did not get funded. Yeah, that was an epic fail.
The
Dean,
Cookie Monster makes sense. What fucking what who are you making that for? Obviously, no one. No one wanted it. No one backed it. Or not enough people backed it. So it's like that makes sense.
I still don't think so. If you think it's good enough to make, then fucking make it.
If you hit your goal in a day, pull that shit down.
And the most annoying thing is like if we hit this number, you unlock this spend. It was literally a Kickstarter on Hasbro Pulse.
Yeah.
I fucking hate this. What are you guys' thoughts?
$350? No.
And it doesn't include fucking batteries.
Yeah, 2 AAA batteries. The cheapest battery, arguably. Fucking Hot Toys are what, $200, and they come with the watch batteries. Those watch batteries are sometimes like $5 each. Now I'm sure he's not paying that, but still, like,
I mean, they're using the shittiest batteries. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna. That's not the place. That's not the thing I'll die on. But you're right. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Batteries not included.
350. It's like, I mean, granted, this thing is fucking huge. It's gigantic. It was a 27 inches or 26.5 or something.
Yeah.
It's massive. It'll be a big ass box. But $350 for a giant Marvel Legends? No. This is maybe, I don't know, like $150 figure.
Yeah.
They needed or last
6,000.
the tier 2 was 7,000. That's $2.8 million that they've pocketed from people.
Yeah, I'm also annoyed that it's a pay up front system. It's not like a payment plan or even like a upon delivery.
Yeah,
DJ agrees. He says $150 to $200 is a fair price.
and obviously it's like, look, they already have made this thing. These aren't renders. They've already spent the R&D making this a figure. Like, you're I don't get it. I honestly, I don't understand. Like, it's just fucking shitty.
What is the opposite of a slam dunk? I don't know. It's a fucking airball.
You stayed at home and fucking ate popcorn and watched.
It's not very catchy.
Wait, can you remind me how much this is?
$350.
Now, I've seen $300 toys before, and even taking into consideration its size, it doesn't look really all that detailed to me. Like, it just doesn't seem like it's worth that kind of money.
No, it's really not.
The material doesn't look great. It looks kind of cheapo, actually.
There's no like high amount of detail. At least with that stupid Transformer that they made. But even then, it wasn't even that detailed because a third-party figure made one, and it was even better.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hasbro doesn't come out with the quality that warrants not only spending that kind of money, but paying it up front and waiting a year. It's like they've already engineered this figure. What exactly am I paying for?
Like,
I don't need the money to make it. You have the factories. You've already paid people to engineer this thing. Just fucking make it. Yeah, Unicorn is what I was talking about.
Danny Lee says, I think it's also because retailers don't want to order these large items for the shelf. I think you could do it like PX Preview style, where local comic stores order it for their store, because almost every local comic store in our area ordered the Sail Barge, and I know a lot of them ordered the Unicron as well. So I'm not a big fan. Manny says they ended up succeeding in the end, so they had the last laugh. I don't know. A lot of people didn't really like the idea of it. So, I mean, I guess technically they made a lot of money, but I'm still gonna shit on them every time that they do it, because I think it's fucking
bullshit that a fucking multi-million-dollar
billion-dollar company
asking you to bankroll the shit that they've already made.
Episode 2 of Collecting Comics did go up on Monday. I thought it was really good. Sean is going to be joined going forward by Cody Jahey, our Dungeon Master. They're both into comics, and they're going to be working on doing it as a live show going forward. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be great. And I'm really excited for it. I was really proud of how the second episode turned out. Sean did a great job. Yeah, it's really good. It's definitely one that you want to watch on video. And I kind of told them, like, hey, a lot of people listen to audio. Let's try to make him going forward a little bit more in the middle. But yeah, it was definitely something that he was really proud to have made. So Dean, let's say thank you to our Patreons who support us and who love us and care for us.
We're even joined by one of our Patreons right now.
Oh, yes.
Ben Porter, Griffin Campbell, Sean Fear, Ian Seavey, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, our sweet friends. Danny Lee, Deanie, look, you're right there.
Hey.
Stephen Krett, Jason Nelson, Big Old Fern, King Zach. Shocking. King Zach is a Patreon. Eric Ruiz, Mario Cortez, Stephen Purchase, Sean Yancey, Scott Bradley, and I think this is a new name, Jesse Contreras. I don't remember saying
Jesse. Oh, shit, I feel bad. Shout out to Quinn also. I need to add Quinn's name.
Oh, Quinn.
Yeah. He joined a little bit after I made this, so big shout out to Quinn as well.
Yeah.
Our Patreon benefit this month was the holographic Creeps Are sticker. Let me go solo cam here so I can show you guys what it looks like. I think it looks really good. So the only way to get that is by joining Patreon, and that is our thank you to you. We're also doing a bonus. Dean, do you have your little acrylic charm you can pull up for me?
It's in my hands.
Oh, we're also doing, let me solo cam you, the acrylic charm for people who sign up for the $15 tier. I think we only have like 12 of those left. So if you want in, please let us know and sign up for that $15 tier. You'll get a certificate of crispiness, the acrylic charm, the Creeps R Us sticker, and a few others to catch you up as a thank you for joining. So big shout out to those people. We have the $5 a month tier, which is the sticker, and the $15 a month tier is the certified crispy certificate. 1 free sculpt per year painted for free by Darkside Customs. Ian does fantastic work. I will fix your figure for free, which is what Deanie took advantage of for her was it Macfarland
Yeah.
Where the Wild Things Are figure, and all the benefits of the $5 tier. And also I wanted to mention we have a new Instagram channel. One of our good friends, Eric, had this great idea, and he did this all on his own, and I was really happy with how it turned out. And so big shout out to him and Manny. Manny made the logo, and Eric is basically taking small snippets of the live show and of After Dark and uploading them to this highlights Instagram. So it's collecting weekly _ clips. So definitely check it out if you like our show. If you want to see some highlights, it is
Yeah, it's usually like the funniest parts of the show.
yeah, it's pretty good. It is pretty good. And I gotta admit, some really good moments in After Dark episode 19. That was probably one of the greatest ones. That was our 4-hour stream. That was one of the greatest After Darks we've ever had. So definitely a good time. Danny Lee was saying he liked the Batman version. Hopefully we get it in sticker form. Yeah, so the thing about that is Sean collects primarily Marvel, and it is his show. So we gave him a selection of designs to pick from, and he picked the one that he wanted. But yeah, we'll definitely look into making more collecting comic stickers, just like we have variations of the CW logo. If collecting comics becomes a big show, we'll definitely make plenty of variants with your favorite comic characters on
Manny,
it.
I'm
So,
gonna send you one right now if you could mock that up for me.
a logo idea or a collecting comics idea
Collecting comics.
of Robotech?
Ooh, it's a good one too. No, I was gonna make one from Berserk.
Hell
But yeah, big shout out to everyone watching live. You guys are great. Big shout out to Deanie for joining us. Big shout out to Six Scale Scavengers, Brian, Chris, and TC. They're always doing some really good work on their show. PJ the Paradox Nerd, Matt Mangum, and Rogue 16. Also, big shout outs to Optical 20 for letting us join in on the stream with Justin and PJ. I thought that was a pretty fun stream. What do you think, Dean?
Yeah, I mean, I jumped on super late.
Uh-huh.
I think I was only there maybe like the last hour.
Yeah, like the last hour and a half.
So I don't think I jumped in that much, but yeah, obviously a bunch of group of cool guys. I'm really sad I didn't get to say hi to Optical because it was like I jumped in the stream and it was like everyone was going. So shout out to Optical. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. I really like him, and we're glad to be friends with those people. Do you guys have any shout outs you wanted to give? Shout out to your mom and Steve for watching our show live.
Yeah, the sweet angels. I feel like there's always someone I want to shout out and I forget at the end, and then like an hour later I'll be like, shit. But I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
Well, that's our show for tonight. Thank you everyone for joining us. Hopefully next episode we'll have a bit more content for you. I felt like this one was a little light as far as the news goes, but that is that's just how live shows go. Fern says you guys didn't talk about how horrible the Beast figure turned out. I am not aware of what we're talking about here.
Oh, you're not? Dude, I can send you the picture.
We're going to talk about it right now. So stay tuned. Give us a quick second. We'll get this pulled up.
Eric,
I don't know, for the X-Man movie.
Eric sent. I just put it in your Messenger, Facebook.
Wait, you sent it to me? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Eric sent this to us this morning. I guess maybe you missed it.
Oh my god! So that just came out today?
Yeah, dude, it's ugly.
Oh man. Okay, so let's talk about it.
Now, luckily, the figure comes with an alternate outfit, so I guess this isn't such a huge deal. But damn, it's
my god!
Like, what the heck?
Wait, time out.
I thought it was a joke. I thought this was a joke, but this is actually from TNS.
So I don't understand. So in the movie, is this blue here supposed to be fur? Or in the movie, is it like like the basketball players wear like those 3/4 sleeves?
Yes, it's a sleeve.
Oh, that's horrible.
It's hideous.
Now this looks great, like from like this down. But what is this? This is like
Dude, it looks like a
fiberglass.
skirt, like for like a little girl's like Halloween costume. Like I can't. I don't have words. It's so bad.
None of the blues work well with each other.
Yeah, they're like all totally different tones of blue. It's like you got like Yondu paint and then like some weird, almost like just a true blue, and then this like light. This looks like Chris Tucker's character in the Four Elements.
Nothing matches. It
That's what
doesn't.
Chris Tucker would wear.
Fifth Element.
Fifth Elements.
Just
Fifth Elements.
no, it's you're talking about the fifth one. Just one element.
Oh, okay. I'm not a fan.
Really
I'm so glad that you guys showed me this, but
yeah, dude, it's fucking terrible. But like I said, there's an alternate outfit. I feel like
so does it cover all that?
Yeah, I feel like if you get this figure, you just don't do this.
So this was by Toys Era?
I believe so. TNS posted it on the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Toys Era.
So what movie is this from?
X-Men. Either.
Okay, so the alternate outfit doesn't look bad. It's like a sweater.
Yeah, it looks
covers
fine.
all that.
It's like just like a regular outfit.
Yo, but time out. Okay, so that's not even the worst part though. Like, look at what they sold you though. Like what they sold you is pretty decent.
Picture is like
actually not bad.
Shit.
Like that looks pretty serviceable.
That's completely different.
Oh my god.
The quality of the stitching on his like
even on the
outfit looks completely different than what is in that picture.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of that.
It's different.
Oh my god.
It's like uneven. It's
insulting.
It literally looks like it was like sewn crooked by his like abs, like that piece there that's kind of
totally crooked.
Oh my! I think it might be the waist tilted a little bit, but yeah, that does look off.
That's true. That could be it.
Sometimes they need a little futzing out of the box. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that at all. I got to see a review though. Maybe it just needs to be futzed.
On the shoulder on the left, there's more material than the shoulder on the right.
On his, I guess it would be his right near his side. You can see like the stitching tearing apart from. Yeah, you see that right there.
They're pulling.
It's completely different.
I don't know, man.
I mean, it could be this one figure. But this is like the person selling it just showing you out of the box, like, "Hey, here's the figure." It's like,
dude, I would not be impressed if I had already spent my money on that.
I'd be pissed, dude.
I would be nervous,
furious. Because in our chat, we're very seldom ever serious. We like to joke around and meme. So when Eric sent this, I thought he was being funny, and then I was like, "Wait a minute, this is TNS." And I went and looked. I was like, "Oh my god, holy shit!" Oh, Sean's here. Toys Era usually does a great job, which this is why I'm like so shocked. I was like, "Wait."
Now, Daniel Lee says important here. It's still better than TFA Chewy.
Oh yeah, 100%.
100%. Well, that's our show, guys. Thank you, Fernando, for bringing this to my attention. Unfortunately, we don't catch all the news, but we do try to catch as much as possible. But anyways, guys,
some news will drop literally in like minutes or the next day.
Yeah. I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Deanie.
We'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye.